Hello, hello, life learners. Welcome back to Evolve and Thrive Life Coaching Insights. I am so glad you chose to join me this Saturday. We are excited because we are continuing our conversations about relationships, which is a currency. But before we get into that and we dig in, I want you all to like and share. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe because we want all those out there who want to be life learners to get something out of this topic today. Okay. Again, if you're interested in knowing a little bit about more who I am, which I am Alexis Nelson. I am the CEO of Coaching Toward Purpose. You can find out more about what I do on alexisnelson.us. That is alexisnelson.us. You can email me and you can also contact me. And if you're looking for someone to come speak or to train at your organization on relationships, on building one's worth, and all that good stuff, please make sure you contact me. And I would love to come and teach and train on relationships. I am so excited about watching people grow. It is amazing. And so I want you to do that. And what things I always say, one thing that I always say is I want my life learners to live life on purpose. Why? Because you're worth it. And again, alexisnelson.us is where you can find out about more of what I do. And if you want individual coaching sessions, you can also sign up on the site. Simple, simple, simple. You can sign up on the site. So I look forward to seeing you all, life learners. Okay, so last week, we talked about the part of relationships, knowing the right time and the right place to confront or to navigate through conflict. But this week, we're going to talk about I statements. This is something that takes practice. Oftentimes, when we're overly emotional, we're very quick to say you. We will say, you did this to me. You made me feel this way. You didn't have to talk to me that way. You always trying to come for me. You are so unprofessional. You don't know anything about anything. And so right then and there, the relationship crash begins, right? So now the person that you're trying to get to a place where you all can talk calmly and you can respect one another's opinions, you can disagree, you can agree to disagree. It is not on the playing field now because the person feels attacked. You is an accusation word. And this is what we're going to talk about. I'm not going to be able to go through all of the tips for the I statement. So this is going to probably take more than one session today. However, I am going to get through as many as I can with you. And I also, I like to put the things on so you can see it. Again, what we're talking about is the use of I statements. Express your feelings using I statements to take ownership of your emotions. For example, you can say, I feel, instead of placing the blame with, you make me feel, right? It sounds better and it doesn't cause the other person to be defensive. So we want to take ownership of our emotions, and we can do that by using the I word. I feel disrespected. I feel neglected. It's just a different ring to it. So I want you to put that tip into play. All right. So let's talk about the ownership of emotions, what I was speaking of. I statements allow you to take responsibility for your own feelings and reactions. I'm not saying it's the other person's fault that I'm upset. I'm not saying that the other person made me get into this place where I'm giving the silent treatment. No, in this moment, the feeling that I am feeling, I'm taking ownership. This is my emotion. Okay. And you see how that works? You take ownership of your emotions. And I'm not saying this is an easy thing to do because when you're in the heat of the moment, it's very hard. But instead of saying you make me feel again, I can express I feel as if I don't I don't get your attention, or I feel as if it's something about me that's causing an issue, you know. And when you come from that stance, it's kind of it makes you, puts you in a place where it's humbling. Okay, it's not like, oh, I'm attacking you, you did this, you. It is practice. I still have to practice because I'm quick to say sometimes, well, if you, instead of, I felt as if my concerns didn't matter to you. I felt as if I'm all alone and I have to go everywhere else to get assistance. I feel upset about that. I feel. And I'm not saying you made me feel this way. I'm saying this is just how I feel. This is my emotion and I'm taking ownership of it. And again, this takes practice because it's a habit. It's quick to say you did this, you did that. Very quick. Easy to do. So we want to make sure that we do that. Using I statements also helps with effective communication. It fosters open and honest communication. It allows a person to share their perspective without sounding like you're accusing someone. Let me say that again. I statements help with effective communication. It allows us to foster honest and open communication about owning our emotions and where we feel or how we feel at the time. And you can share your perspective without the other person feeling like you're accusing them of something, which puts them on a defense. And when someone's on a defense, the relationship tends to be a little shaky. So we want to make sure that we really try our best to use these I statements. I'm telling you, life learners, it is a wonderful thing. And once you are able to master that, watch your relationships go up instead of coming down. It is going to change the whole dynamics of how you relate and how you communicate to people. Again, this is worth being intentional about, making sure that we practice those I statements. I statements also promote understanding. Statements help others understand emotions and experiences. So sometimes people don't really know what's going on with you, right? And all of a sudden you may be overstimulated or you're upset about something and they're like, they don't have a clue. Like, what did I do? I statements help people understand, right? Because you have owned your emotion and you can put this on you. They're not focused on, oh, so I did something to you. I didn't mean to do that. I would no, they're focused on hearing what you have communicated, how you're feeling in that moment. So it's really encouraging about these I statements. Okay, life learners, I want you to drop something in that box in the comment to see how you can use an I statement. All right. So we know we said I statements help us take ownership of our emotions. That's one tip. Write that down. I statements help you take ownership of our emotions. Okay. The other tip, I statements help promote understanding. This is really good. Now, here's another one. It invites empathy and creates a conducive environment for dialogue. So now the person is in tune with your emotions and how you're feeling at the time. I'm like, man, I didn't even know you felt that way. I am so sorry. I really wasn't trying to make you feel that way. I really wasn't. I am so sorry. I didn't know that it seemed that I didn't care about your feelings at all. No. I never want to make you feel that way. See, it creates that environment for someone to empathize with you instead of being ready to like, what? Why you always no? You're accusing me? I don't even want to have this conversation. I'm out of here. See, that eliminates that. So we want to use I statements again. It invites empathy and it creates a conducive environment for dialogue. This is good, right? And so those are the tips that I want to give you today. There are so many more, and we will continue those next Saturday. But I want to go back over this topic one more time because I want to make sure my life learners out there get this. And I want you to take notes. If you have a journal or if you have your cell phone, you have notes in it. Make sure you write these tips down and practice them daily because when you don't, we get right back into habit saying you did this, you did that, you made me feel it's your fault. It's you. We don't want to do that. We want to use I statements because they promote a healthy environment for relationships to thrive, right? That is what I statements does. So again, effective communication using I statements fosters open and honest communication. So please write that down. This is what using I statements do. This is the moral of the whole story. Okay. It allows you to be able to share perspective without sounding like you're accusing someone. And so this is one benefit of using I statement. Again, the next one that I talked about, it promotes understanding. I statements promote understanding. It helps others understand emotions and experiences. So this is another benefit of using an I statement. And it invites empathy. This is one of my favorite ones. And it creates a conducive environment of dialogue. We want to be in a place when we're being relational with people, may it be in your family, may it be a spouse, a loved one, it could be in the workplace, organizations, that we have a environment that's conducive for growth. Relationships is a currency, and I say this all the time, but if we don't recognize the importance of being intentional with nurturing the relationships, we can have fragmented relationships in every area of our lives. So it's really important to try this I statement out. And this is just a few tips about relationships. But for today, I want us to use the word I and just practice it. Go get in a conversation with somebody and just do a role play and say the person upset you and they did something to offend you. And so you decided to get upset and you were short and you were disrespectful. And so I want you to role play that. So, and I'm going to do a role play real quick, okay? So, you always act like you don't have time for me. And I don't like that. Every time I come to you, I don't understand this project that you have given me, and you want me to do it right, but yet and still, you never have the time to sit with me and explain to me how to do it. You always do that. This is why I never want to come to you about anything. So, can you imagine the person on the other end? They're like, who's she talking to? Instead of saying, I feel unimportant. I feel as if I'm a bother and that I aggravate. And I want to be all that I can be without being a burden. I feel like I'm a burden. I feel as if I'm not, you know, important or my thoughts are not important. The way I feel is not important. I feel that I'm not important enough for a conversation or 10 minutes of time. Now, compare those two. You comparing? I hope so. So, assignment. Make sure you use I statements because it is going to elevate you in an area that I know we all have to improve in. We don't want to accuse people. We want to own our emotions. We want to be able to take ownership of them and articulate it. Put it, sometimes it's hard for people to put language to how they feel. Have you ever asked someone, "Well, how are you doing today?" And they're like, mm, mm. And you're like, "What is right?" Because sometimes in the moment it's hard to put language to the emotion. But that's something that we have to practice because, again, we want to make sure that we are conducive in the environments that we thrive in. In order to thrive, we must know how to nurture relationships. But the first one, it starts with the I statements. If I can't communicate how I feel without accusing others for how I feel, then it's going to tarnish the relationship. So, again, use I statements, take notes, practice until next Saturday. I want to see how it went for you and share some comments so I can see how it went because I'm interested, life learners. Now, life learners are intentional. So, if you're intentional about growth, I'm sure you wrote down these tips. Again, I am Alexis Nelson, and I am the CEO of Coaching Toward Purpose. I am your life coach. And guess what? All my life learners live life on purpose. Why? Because you're worth it. Again, make sure you like and share. Check me out at alexisnelson.us. I will be waiting to hear from you. You can also email me at iamalexisnelson at gmail.com and I will get back to you very quickly. Again, life learners, I want you all to enjoy this day. Remember, I statements, I statements, I statements. It is going to make you better. All right, you all, have a good one. Until next Saturday.